Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Katie, and today I'm going to be doing the favorites tag. So my friend Reese over at the Writing Songbird, I will link her channel down below. She's the one who created this tag, so thank you for creating it. I also think she tagged me, I'm pretty sure, but I also know Sam at the Book Bunch also tagged me, and I think, don't quote me, but I think Celestria tagged me too, but I'm not sure on that. But if she isn't, I'll just still tag her because she did do the tag, I remember. All right, so I'm actually doing these mostly on the fly because I don't know, I didn't want to plan ahead. I just wanted to have fun and see what answers I could come up with right here on camera with you. So the first question is, what do you say is your favorite book and why? So if you've been here a while, my favorite book that I always say is The Princess Bride by William Goldman. This is my special edition, and I just realized this has deckled edges. Sidetrack, because I have a deckled edge challenge that I need for a prompt, and this has deckled edges. Okay, well, that helped me because maybe I'll read that. Anyway, so I say this is my favorite book. And why? Number one, I love the movie as well because they're both written by the same author. The author wrote the screenplay, so that's one. Number two, this is kind of like a nostalgic book to me because I honestly feel like this is if not the first, but one of the very first books I ever picked up from the library downtown. When I went there for the very first time, I remember just looking around and I spotted this beautiful cover. It wasn't this one. This one came out years later, but I think I was about, I would say between 13 and 15 at the time. I'm going to say that. I think I saw the movie first. And I think I saw it before then. But I went to the library and all of a sudden I saw this really beautiful book. And I'm like, what is this book? And I think it was in the adult section at that point. It wasn't in YA. But I picked it up and it said The Princess Bride. And I just remember falling in love with that book and that book cover. I still don't have that specific book cover. But I picked it up and this is the book that I have reread the most. I think I've reread it like 10 times probably. And I do really want to reread it again this summer. So yeah, so that's kind of why I say it's my favorite book. So the next question is, what is your real favorite book and why? So that's kind of tough, honestly, because I have so many favorite books, if I'm being honest. I mean, like, this is like kind of a nostalgic pick. Like, if anybody says, what's your favorite? I just naturally go to The Princess Bride because that's just the book that I usually gravitate towards. But I would say, honestly, I don't know. There are so many great books. How can you choose just one? Like, that's like the bad question, right? I don't know. If I had to pick one that wasn't The Princess Bride, ooh, I know. I would pick The Peasant's Dream by Melanie Dickerson. That one would probably be, if I didn't have The Princess Bride, that one would kind of be at the top of the stack. I don't have a copy of it, but it's The Peasant's Dream by Melanie Dickerson. It is the final book in her Hagenheim series. And I love it. I think it's book 10 or 11 in that series. And I can't tell you how many times I physically hugged that book while I was reading it. I hugged it, held it close, and I just felt it was a perfect ending to the series, and like honestly left me wanting more though, because I just love that series so much and it's one of my favorite series of all time. But yeah, I think I would say that was my real favorite book. Probably. All right, so the next question is, what is your favorite series and why? Okay. Favorite series. I mean, I love series, so I've got quite a few of them. But honestly, I think the one that's kind of hitting up there that I would reread is probably the series that's right behind me. I think a lot of my friends would probably say the same thing, is the Timeless series by Gabrielle Mayer or Gabrielle Mayer, actually. Know how to pronounce her name now. It's not Gabrielle, it's Gabrielle. So by Gabrielle Mayer, and I am in love with these books. The third one comes out next May, I think. And I cannot wait an entire year to read the third book. I'm like, I can't wait. I really cannot wait. And there's a cliffhanger for each one. And the second book that landed on a cliffhanger in this moment, I'm like, I just need the third book immediately. Like, can you just put it in my hands? I'll proofread it for you. I'm great at catching spelling mistakes. Like, just pick me as a proofreader, because, like, I really want to read the third book. So, yeah, I would honestly probably say that's my favorite series. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. All right, so next question. Well, I'm sorry about the bright glare. It's sunny out, and it's a great time to film, I guess. All right, the next question is, who is your favorite author and why? I know my favorite author. 1 second. I have it right here. I'm like, where is my favorite book by her? I could say Melanie Dickerson, because honestly, she is one of my absolute favorites. I'm still going to say she's kind of at the top of the list. So many people are at the top of the list. Like, it's really, really hard to pick a favorite. But honestly, one of my favorites is Misu Andrews. And the reason why, well, I've never given any of her books under 4 stars. I love them all. Well, most of my favorite authors I've never given under 4 stars. But definitely Misu Andrews, Toni Shiloh, I love her, another one. And and Melanie Dickerson. But there's so many other ones. You would be here all day if I had to mention all my favorite authors. But yeah, so those are kind of like my top 3, but I have so many more than that. It's insane. But yeah, so I'm going to mention Melanie Dickerson, though, for this video, because sweetest lady. I adopted her as my mom when I met her. So, and her husband. Her and her husband, they're now adopted into my family. They are not leaving. I won't let them. But I love her. She just puts so much heart and soul into her books, and just, I can't imagine the thorough research she does for each and every book. Like, it's insane how much research she puts into these books. I can't even fathom it. Like, I can't imagine, especially like if I were to write a book, it would be contemporary, because just when I see people like Misu Andrews or Jill Eileen Smith or Angela Hunt, all these authors are writing biblical fiction, like, I can't imagine the amount of research you have to do to write this. Like, it's insane and crazy, but in a good way. So I'm gonna mention her, and just because she's insane, she's crazy, and I love her. And she's adopted. All right, next question is, what is your favorite genre and why? I love all genres. There really isn't like a favorite, honestly. I would honestly say, though, I would probably think I'm really loving, like, this is a new thing to me. I am loving contemporary romance. I don't know what it is, but I'm just loving contemporary romance. But I think romance in general would be my favorite. Contemporary romance, historical romance, fantasy romance, or anything really with romance in it, I'm all for it. So honestly, I would say romance in general, I guess. And I don't really have a reason why. I just love a good love story, I guess. I grew up on fairy tales. Blame fairy tales. It's their fault. All right, so let's see. What is your favorite character and why? And I know immediately who that is. So my favorite character is Brielle Adebayo from In Search of Her Prince by Toni Shiloh. This is the first woman that I thought of. She's my favorite character. I love her so much. Her faith and steadfast faith and love in God is just unmatched in any fiction book that I've ever read. I love her. I love her personality. I love her best friend Iris. I love her so much. She's I love this book so much. It's a kind of like a Princess Diaries twist, but I love this. She finds out that she's a princess of an African kingdom, and her grandfather, who she didn't know was still around, needs her to take over the throne after he's passed. And so I loved her character. I loved her faith. I love that she went to the Lord with every decision in her life, and you could just see her faith grow as her journey went, and I just loved her character, and I would totally be best friends with her. I would be her Iris. I would be her best friend Iris. I would. So that is my favorite character. And why? Yeah, just because of that. I loved her faith. I loved her kind, generosity, her generous spirit. I loved her so much. All right, next question is, what is your favorite book to movie adaptation and why? Well, I kind of already mentioned it in the beginning of the video, but that's upside down. That's The Princess Bride. Favorite book to movie adaptation ever, and I mean ever. Like, it's because, there's a why after that question, it's because the author is the screenplay writer. I mean, you cannot get a better movie than that. You just can't. You can't. You literally can't. Like, I don't honestly know if there is an author that wrote a screenplay from his own book. I really don't know if there's one out there, but he did, and I loved it to pieces. I will rewatch that movie 1,000 times over and never get tired of it. I love it. I have all the lines memorized pretty much. So yeah, it's a perfect book to movie adaptation, and I just love it. I love both. I'm honestly more of a fan of the movie just because I can see it come to life, but I love it. And yeah, yeah. I cannot think of a better one. Absolutely cannot. All right, the next question is, what is your favorite quote from a book and why? I don't know. You know what? I was going to mention one from The Princess Bride because it's most known, but honestly, I think I'm going to go with, it doesn't say fiction or nonfiction, so I'm going to go with the Bible, because my favorite quote from a book, from the Bible, is, honestly, there's a few, but Jeremiah 29:11 is my life verse, and it just really helps me when I need it. And it says, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans that give you a hope and a future. And I just love that. And I do need to memorize the verse after that because it's important as well. I can't remember it, but I will put it in the description box and on the screen. But I love that verse, so I'm going to say that is my favorite quote from a book. All right, the next question is, what is your favorite book cover and why? That's not fair because there are so many book covers that are gorgeous. Like, how can you just pick one? What did you pick? I mean, I could pick The Princess Bride because, I mean, this cover is absolutely stunning. I mean, but I'll pick a different book because I've already used that one. Let's see. You know, I think I lost the book I was going to talk about. Oh, there it is. You know what? This is one of my favorite covers. And I did my book review on it yesterday. But it is one of my favorite covers. And that is The All-American by Susie Finkbeiner. I mean, I think the one thing that drew me into this cover was the stunning bright red cover. You don't see that in a lot of books. I mean, I can count on one hand how many red books that I own that are like this bright, this much red in one cover. I love it. I love the cover. I love the 50s style dress with like the long coat and the hat and her hair. Like, I just love that. And the baseball reference. Like, I just thought, like, it's perfect. I don't know. I really, really love this cover. So this is definitely one of my favorites, as well as The Princess Bride, of course. I don't know if there's anything else. Oh, this one. Wish Dress has a beautiful cover and a beautiful story. So honestly, Wish Dress would definitely be another absolute favorite and one I would display for sure. I think that's all I'll mention because, man, there are just so many beautiful covers out there. It's not even funny. So those are two that I'll mention, I guess. All right. Next one is, what is your favorite trope and why? Favorite trope. I thought of something the other day and now I can't remember what it was. Oh, I can't remember. Because somebody mentioned it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's one of my favorite tropes, and now I can't remember. Well, I know one of my absolute favorites is a royalty romance, specifically like a secret royalty romance. So like, if the girl doesn't know the guy's a prince or vice versa. Like, I love that. Like, finding true love without knowing that the other person is royalty is just like perfect. I love that. And royalty in general for romance, yeah, I just think the royalty trope is absolutely cute and I love it. I think that would be my favorite trope, honestly. Yeah. I mean, pretty much all of Melanie Dickerson's book have a royalty aspect to it, so yeah, I love royalty. All right. What is your favorite book couple and why? Book couple. There are a lot of really great book couples. Oh, I know. My brain keeps going back to The Princess Bride. We gotta pick something else here. Or ooh, I know. Yeah. Trying to think if there's any other ones, but this is one of my absolute favorite character couples in a book, and that is The Maid of Ballymaccool by Jennifer Dybel. This is Michael and Bree. Yeah, Bree. But Michael in general is just the most sweet, Prince Charming type of a man I will ever read in a book, probably. And I love his character. I love Bree. I loved how brave she was and just her personality, and I just felt like they fit together so sweetly in a perfect kind of fairy tale retelling, pretty much. So yeah, I loved Bree and Michael. I can't remember, I actually remembered his name. I guess I must have really liked him because I remembered his name. But anyway, so yeah, Bree and Michael are definitely a really good love match that I really, really liked. Other than them, I don't know if I have any other ones. I mean, I have a ton, but that would be a top choice. Okay, so I guess those are my answers. I thought I had more couples that I could think of, but not too many that I could think of that were absolute favorites or anything. But so that's the end of the book tag. So I don't know who to tag, but let's see. Who can I tag? I'll go ahead and tag Christy. I will link her channel down below. And then I will also tag Jane Reads. I don't know if Jane has done it yet, but if you haven't, go ahead. And then I'll also tag anybody else who wants to do it. I would love to hear your answers. I'll tag Beth. I'll tag Bethany. I'll tag her channel down below as well. So if you haven't done it and I haven't tagged you, that's okay. Consider yourself tagged and feel free to do it. Also, feel free to answer the questions in the comments because I'd love to hear your answers or read your answers. And I will have all the questions in the description box so you can check them out as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you all for the next one.